The Will You Grow Show goes live Sundays 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern. To receive notifications, click the subscribe button beneath this video, or visit YouTube's Will You Grow channel to see more shows and videos. And now, here's Will You founder Angelique Medow with this week's Will You Grow Show.
Welcome to the Will You Grow Show. How are you? My name is Angelique, and I'm here to ignite your inner courage to liberate yourself from limitations. I'm the founder of Will You and WillYouGrow.com, an inspirational multimedia company that provides personal growth and joy through education, conversations, and adventures. Our weekly grow shows, like the one you're watching today, begin by tackling touchy subjects that'll tickle your tempestuous thoughts, fan your eternal flame, and salve your soul with hope. Halfway through, we'll take a 60-second look at what people have to say about us and share any new goodies that we've created just for you. Then we'll go hands-on to talk fun tips and tools to begin implementing today's lesson into your life. Here in the studio with me today are our audio aficionado, Ben.
I can't see you.
I'm here. I'm in the shot now.
And our video Santa, Neil.
Cheers.
They help make this show happen while sharing their colorful commentary. Today's episode is brought to you by Life and Nature, who keep our hearts beating and our world turning. We say thank you to Life, Nature, and each and every one who helps bring these shows to you. We also thank each and every viewer, and especially those who hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons today. We're grateful and glad that you are all here. Now, on to today's episode, Intuition, a source of connection. What does the word intuition mean to you? Does intuition sound weird, wacko, out of touch, interesting, exciting, or scary? Let's talk about it. So what is intuition? Here's some input. Albert Einstein was a great believer in intuition and its power to aid in discovery. Einstein is widely quoted as saying, quote, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant," unquote. And according to Psychology Today, Einstein also told a friend that, quote, "All great achievements of science must first start from intuitive knowledge," unquote. And, quote, "At times I feel certain I am right while not knowing the reason," unquote. Merriam-Webster defines intuition as, quote, "quick and ready insight," unquote. According to OxfordLanguages.com and Wikipedia.com, intuition is the ability to understand something immediately without the need for logic and reasoning. And Nobel Prize-winning studies about intuition by Daniel Kahneman list intuition as, quote, "the ability to automatically generate solutions without long, logical arguments or evidence," unquote. In my experience, intuition is a source of connection to know anything. It's a conscious connection to know anything. It's going on when I know it. I'm conscious of it. An analogy that fits today's terminology would be, intuition is like the internet. The internet allows us to connect with Google. Google is a limited source of information. Intuition, on the other hand, allows us to connect with infinite intelligence and all information. So, can we really know anything? It has been my experience that I can ask any question and get a true, real answer. Sometimes answers are immediate, other times answers take years, but they come. I seek answers and I find answers. This ability is within each of us. So if we can know anything, why don't we? We've been directed away from intuitive information by means of societal norms and educational standards. For example, most universities neither offer a PhD in intuition nor PhDs in any of the four known types of intuition: clear knowing, which is called clear cognizance; clear sensing, which is called clear sentience; clear hearing, which is called clairaudience; and clear seeing, which is called clairvoyance. And for another societal example, families do not teach their children to tune into intuition to find answers. Instead, many parents don't know what intuition is or how to utilize it as a source of connection to all information and intelligence. Instead, they hope their children look to them. Most parents don't use intuition to guide their children either. Instead, they repeat their unconscious patterns and experience with their own parents. Our society is currently organized in a hierarchy of idolization of parents, teachers, preachers, politicians, doctors, scientists, and intercessors for God as authority figures and sources of truth. I'm coming to you because this is a misnomer and a downfall. The wisdom within each of us, also called the Holy Spirit and God within us, and a whole lot of other names, that wisdom within us needs to be uncovered, honored, and cherished. Intuitive information is available to us, so how can we know this? The answer may sound esoteric, but the answer is knowable. We can know that intuitive information is available to each of us because each of us are the information. We are part of it, and we are connected to it. We cannot be separated from what we are. However, we can build a mental wall around us so we can't know, sense, hear, or see the information. We can ignore it. Do we know anyone like that? We can stuff the information and truth. Do we know anyone like that? We can deny it. We can get angry about it. And we can believe we're not worthy to experience it. Or in some other way, we can simply turn away from the intuition and information. The question is, will we turn away from intuition and information? Will we continue to do that? Even though every answer to every question is available to us, we may turn away from the answers. We may be afraid of knowing the truth because it may require us to change. Or we may be afraid of knowing truth because it may upset our idea of being right. Or we may be satisfied with the reasons that we get from our teachers, preachers, politicians, and medical authorities who give lots of conflicting information, and none of us really know what the truth is. Or there might be some other reason that we turn away from the intuition and information. But it is important, and I am planting a seed right now to let you know that the information is available to each of us, and it's up to us to choose to connect. So will we choose fear or intuition? What we've chosen in our daily lives so far might be a little bit of a tipping point. Do we regularly experience fear, anxiety, dread, depression, suicidal thoughts, or other limitations to our happiness? If so, it's likely that we are not using intuition to connect to the unlimited source of all information. For if we were, we could receive the answers needed so we may break free of those unhappy sources of suffering. When we're connected to all truth via intuition, we live in the expansive possibilities of learning and infinite perception of ourself and life. This type of open vision and perception allows us to see and be in meaningful and joyful ways. So some of this intuition talk can get a bit intangible feeling because it literally is not in physical form. It's intangible. So I'll share a bit of my personal relationship with intuition to help you to maybe see, if you don't already in your own life, what that really looks like when we use our intuition. So I listen to and consult with intuition about all things that I am consciously aware. That means that I ask questions and I receive information. For example, today's topic is a result of asking intuition what topic is needed at this time. We can ask these questions to intuition the same way we would to another human being. The difference is it knows everything. So it's a much wiser source for me to consult with. Just as important as asking questions is my open willingness to receive all forms of information at any time. Those forms of information I talked about, clairsentience, clairaudience, basically knowing through the senses, are things that I experience, and I'm very blessed to be able to know those things. There are also times that I have disconnected from intuition when I was unable to receive information. This was due to my own limited certainty of what I thought truth was. It had also been due to intense emotions of desire or fear of an outcome. Those are blockages to receiving. So I found that I was born with a great sense of connection and truth from intuitive guidance. Maybe that's common, but it hasn't been common with the people that I know. Most people I know are not in conscious communication via intuition. Growing up and into my 20s, intuition forewarned me of car accidents, deaths of loved ones, health problems, and more things that I can share here. As an adult, it warned me of infidelity, physical dangers, and also led me to joyful opportunities and relationships like the ones I have here with me today with Neil and Ben. Do you guys want to share any of that? Or I can share?
That's so sweet. I feel so humble.
Well, it was intuitive guidance. I had asked intuition. I said, please, I don't know where to look to find the perfect people to help me with video and audio. And I can't do it myself. I can't do it all. And I need people who are creative and open and thoughtful and people that are trustworthy, and fun to be with.
And who did intuition lead you to? Your life insurance agent, who we mutually share a life insurance agent. And he hooked us up, and it's been 2 years now. Well, I couldn't believe that. It's been 2 years. And here we are.
And here we are.
And that policy is great.
It's an awesome policy.
Yes, and Ben, I had done some audio recording with Ben, and we just hit it off. It was one of those things, it was like with Neil, it was easy to work with him. He was open, we connected. He had a great sense of humor. It was like they were both just dropped into my life. And I say it was like that, but it really was like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I try
Yes.
and provide that service.
Actually, you just are that. You don't
Thank
even
you.
have to try.
It's been
And-
great working with both of you. So.
That's what makes it fun. We just are who we are, and we all play and create wonderful things.
This isn't scripted. This comes out.
So intuition has also led me into the most amazing connections, not only with people, but with nature. Amazing connections that I could never have imagined. And I'll share a couple examples. When I decided to begin honing my intuition when I was in my 20s, I started by reading Laura Day's book, right here, titled Practical Intuition. I don't know if Miss Laura is still with us or not, but if she is and happens to listen to this message, I want her to know how special she is and how wonderful this book really has been for me. So again, in my 20s, I started reading this book titled Practical Intuition, and I recommend it highly. In her book, she suggests that we notice how we feel and ask intuitively for assistance. That was my first big experience with consciously connecting with intuition to get to the answers of all information. Because when I did that, and I connected with how I felt, and I noticed, I am hungry, like really hungry. And then I asked for assistance to intuition, thinking, I wonder how I'm going to get help with that, because I was in the middle of nearly nowhere, sitting by a lake, by myself with no people around. Moments later, I heard animals squawking and a rustling tussle atop the trees to my right. Before I could look up, a hawk swooped down in front of me and dropped 2 dead baby birds at my feet. That's right. Well, nature heard me and answered my call for food. That may not have been first on my list of delicacies, But nature provided food for me. And that was many years ago, and I've continued to connect and communicate via intuition ever since. Now, I know that story sounds hard to believe, but when you get into intuitive information and guidance, it will be. It will be hard to believe because it's not logical. It cannot be reached by logic. It cannot be reached by reasoning. It cannot be reached. It can only be allowed. Now, you don't have to believe me, and as a matter of fact, I encourage you not to. The reason I encourage you not to is not because I'm lying to you, but because I want you to experience it for yourself. Because it will be far more amazing and open far more doors and give you the ability to experience more of yourself and life and peace and joy than anything else that you could possibly ever do for yourself. And don't take this advice from me. You can look at all of the educated masters, all of the intuitive masters, all the gurus, all the saints, and even the saviors, and they'll say the same thing. They might use different words to describe it, but it's the intuition that they use to connect with that inner guidance that provides all the informations and answers that a person could ever need. So a second and very easy, tangible example of intuition that I can give you from my connection with nature is from yesterday. I felt strongly that this plant wanted to be featured on today's show. And for those of you who watch, you know that we feature plants every week almost. Well, what do I mean when I say I felt strongly that this plant wanted to be featured on today's show? Well, if it continually shows up for me, and it's something that I noticed, it almost feels like when I look at it, that there is a halo around it. It's like a spotlight from the creator that makes it look brighter and bigger and like, wah, in front of me. This happened over and over and over again for almost a week. And then I just felt like, okay, well, if this is true, that this is the plant that wants to be featured today, then I'm going to connect with the plant, because plants are not unlike people in that they are also alive, and that source of life that isn't within them can be connected to. Doesn't matter if it's plants, trees, bees, earth, rocks. Now, you probably really think I'm crazy, but it all has life in it. If it has life in it, you can connect to it. You can have communication with it. So I went to the plant in the forest, not knowing anything about it, and I began a conversation the same way I would with a human, except I didn't say anything out loud. Just because it doesn't speak English doesn't mean it isn't communicating. But anyhow, I clearly asked the questions aloud in my mind. But first I admired the plant. I admired her and told her how beautiful she is. And she is, although you might not be able to see it through the television screen. There are beautiful little lavender blossoms with tiny little yellow inserts. They're just gorgeous. So I asked it if it would like to be featured on today's show, and I remained open to receive an answer. In seconds, the answer I heard in my mind was, yes, very much. Then I said, I have no idea what you are. What's your name? Can you tell me your name in American English? And I heard the word Aster. Aster co something, yes. It was an unusual name, and I didn't understand the middle part of the second word. Okay, I said, thank you. Thank you very much, Aster. That's an unusual and a very pretty name. About 2 hours later, I began researching purple flowers in the southeast on the internet. And the very first photo that popped up was of these beauties, with the name of, you guessed it, Aster. It's Aster cordifolius. No matter how many times I connect via intuition and receive truth, I am always delighted. And nature is a constant supply of beautiful surprises. So is it possible to use intuition to access information? With practice, yes, it is possible to use intuition to connect to unlimited information, even amidst external circumstances. In the beginning, it can be challenging since being disconnected is a habit. It's a habit that needs to be broken just like any other addiction. And that's the way we need to treat disconnection. like a bad habit that kills our satisfaction, peace, happiness, connection to ourselves, others, and everything, and our ability to know truth. So, what can we do to connect via intuition to all that information? Here are 9 of many tips to help us connect. Of these 9, I hope one of them might inspire you, but don't be limited by those 9 either. The perfect one for you might be out there that you need to discover for yourself. So here's a good start. Tip number 1, release fear of the answer. Can you imagine that? If I ask a question and I'm afraid to know what the answer is, that fear blocks our ability to know the truth. Tip 2, release desire for an answer. It's the opposing feeling of fear. You've got to release desire for an answer. That also blocks our ability to know the truth because it's needy. Tip number 3, release stress. Stress blocks our ability to connect to intuition and answers. Tip number 4, accept that new information is available. Tip number 5, be teachable. Not a naysaying, it's always been this way, it is what it is kind of person. That will allow things to change. Tip number 6, see learning as wonderful. Find the joy in learning and growing, because today is a new day and can differ from our past and our old imaginings of our future. Tip number 7, ask questions. Clear, concise questions. For example, you noticed I asked for it to give me its name in American English. If it had given me its maybe Latin name or other name, like it's the second half of its name, it would have been far more difficult for me to receive that. So make sure your questions are clear and concise. Tip number 8, be grateful. We are more than blessed to have all information available to us. So let's be thankful for it. And tip number 9, know our worth. Not in an arrogant way, but we can know that we are just as worthy as any being to use intuition as a way to know things. Intuition may be a knock at our door or a bell ringing on our phone, offering us information. We need to open the door to our hearts, answer the call, and learn what it has to say to us. There are lots more tips, such as breathing techniques, nutrition, exercise, sleep, self-care, etc. And there is a whole lot of great information available about this topic of intuition. And I recommend researching it further to discover ways to experience intuition and connect to answers that you seek. And we'll be having some live online Q&A discussions about honing intuition soon. So we'll look forward to that and keeping you posted about the timing. For now, we'll take a 60-second break to turn it over to you to consider. Will you choose to access information through intuition more often? When we come back, we'll hear what the crew has to say about today's topic and talk tips and tools to be more intuitive by means of Mother Nature.
The Will You Grow Show will now take 60 seconds to check in with you. If you're wondering how to apply a Grow Show topic to your life, here's what people say about mentoring with Angelique.
One of Angelique's gifts is, first of all, to be so in touch with herself and with nature that she can see what truth is, that I think maybe can escape people at times.
She looks right through you and sees what's inside of you.
I think she just sensed that I was very uptight with my emotions, and she's been able to guide me and help me know those emotions.
This is your girl. Self-care is not selfish. If you really want to dig deep and stop living on the surface, then schedule a conversation with Angelique.
If you'd like to buy the book Angelique described in today's show, it's available to purchase by following the link in the description box. By purchasing through that link, you will be supporting your own learning, the publisher, and will you. Just click the link in the description box to buy your book about practical intuition.
Welcome back. And now let's hear what the crew has to say about today's topic.
I've been, like I said earlier, working with you for 2 years now. And I'm still getting used to this idea of intuition. I'll admit freely that I had not even thought about it, not even discussed it with anyone, just like probably the rest of you humans out there in the YouTube world. So I'm still learning it as I go. When I do these videos, I do pay attention to what you're saying. And I do talk about it to other people. And so I'm trying to get in touch with the intuition in myself. Like I always say this, every show, I'm a work in progress. I'm a good test subject for this Will You program. But if you want to learn how it does affect other people and how it does help other people, how Angelique has helped other people get in touch with their intuition, look at the other videos on this channel, and you will see just how much it does help. And that if you listen to what she's saying, if you go by the nine tips she gave you, you will get in touch with your intuition and feel much better about yourself. Because other people have, it has worked. So give it a try. Like she says, what have you got to lose?
The best part about it for me is I was sitting there thinking through the 9 things, and it's like, all right, that makes sense. That makes sense. That would help. But something that Angelique didn't mention, well, maybe you did in the beginning, but this process is honest in the sense that when you go out, and I talk about this a lot. There was an episode where I talked about I like bodies of water somehow assist me with this. But when you're out in nature, you know, the planet is not going to lie to you. It's not the same as asking a question of a person or the internet, which you mentioned.
It doesn't hold back, does it?
So keeping those steps in mind, you know, there may not be an answer. It may not come right when you want it. It's not going to fit into our culture of get on your app and select everything that you want and need, and someone just brings it up to your front door and drops it off for a fee. But I think that's the attraction in it, right? I mean, it's not of our world that we built. It's just of the world that we inherited.
Like she said, it's
that
not,
everyone inherited.
It's not logical, and that might be tough for some people. Some people have to touch something, or they have to insert logic into it.
In that way, it seems honest and safe to me. It's a safe practice.
It is.
You go out and
it's the most honest thing you could do.
Yeah, it's you and your surroundings.
Yeah.
And that can be, I guess, at first glance lonely, but it's really not, because people are lonely, you know, surrounded by information on their phone, just sitting on the couch. So I would give it a shot.
Yeah.
I'm down to give it a shot.
Self-care is not selfish, and this is part of self-care. So give it a shot. Give it a try.
But I'm wondering if you're willing to share with viewers why you haven't.
Why I haven't? Like most people, I'm still trying to. I try to apply a logical explanation to it, but it's not, and I need to get over that. Like you said, I need to be teachable, which is one of the 9 tips, and learn about it more. And I'm stubborn, I guess. I don't.
I think that's a great place to start.
I believe so.
And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a reason why what you're calling stubbornness exists. There's a reason why that's there. So one doesn't have to dive right into getting all the answers.
No.
You can wade into this concept of intuition by just saying, I wonder why I haven't. And then saying, oh, I'm kind of noticing maybe that there's some sort of resistance, stubbornness with this process. Why do I feel that way?
Right.
Just asking ourselves these kind of questions of why do I feel this way can help to lead us to deciding whether we're going to open up to it. We can take it step by step by step. And even just asking little questions like, what's best for me to have for breakfast? What nutritionally does this body need today?
Normally that answer's bacon. No, it's not. I'm just kidding.
But
just kidding.
Small questions like that. It can start to be fun by just actually playing it like a game, to
That's
start
interesting.
by saying, intuition, tell me what, I'm going to go fill up my gas tank. Tell me what number it's going to be when I'm done filling it up.
Right.
And then it'll help you start to notice, what am I noticing? So you can find out, is it that I hear intuition? Like for me, I can hear words, literally. I might see words written in front of me. So you might see the number 3477 or whatever the numbers are for the cost of your gas. You might just have an instant knowing it's 3477 without hearing anything, without seeing anything. There are all kinds of...
I wonder if I think I've unconsciously leaned on intuition, but not knowing it.
Sure.
I think we all have.
We all have it.
We all have it. But we all have it. But we've never put a, finger on that. Oh, that's intuition.
Or even appreciated it.
Right, or appreciated it.
We
exactly.
somehow assumed it was us. And
Yes.
in a way, if we look at it esoterically, it is, because we're connected to everything. It is all us.
Yeah.
However, if we are...
There's a deeper meaning to it.
Yeah, if we are just the Angelique and I'm not connected to that, then it's not really me that's doing it. I'm being run by this internet of... It's so much bigger than... And there's not even a word for a universal infinite intelligence except for that. I mean, they don't...
Right.
Internet is worldwide. Intranet is local. This is so much bigger than both
This
of
is
those
ultranet.
things. This is everything, yes.
It's metanet.
It's metanet.
Yeah. Right.
Omninet.
Right. But when we have a little resistance to it, we might just feel like some of our old ideas that might have come from our parents or what we thought was true our whole life might get upsot, and we might have to say, geez, what else am I wrong about if I'm wrong about that? We might start to wonder how much of this is going to get uncovered. But there's such joy that goes along with it.
There is.
And peace and connection and answers to anything. I mean, you can ask a plant what its name is.
Story is... That doesn't explain all of what intuition is. I don't know what will.
And there are so many stories,
yes.
and most of us don't talk about those kinds of stories because people might think we're crazy. But the reality is, logic is all controlled information.
Yes. Sometimes logic gets in the way sometimes. Kick it out of the way.
Right.
On something else.
You can't put it in a petri dish.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't stay there. It's everywhere.
Right.
It's wild, like wild nature.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for being willing to share that.
Yes.
And I will look forward to hearing what you discover, I should say uncover, what you uncover as you sift through why there might be some resistance
We've got 9 tips to help.
There's that. And thank you very much, Ben, for sharing your input, especially about the fact that it is safe.
Yes.
Because that is
honest.
also a very secure and peaceful, content feeling to know that when we ask the questions that there is a benevolent play back and forth. There is a desire for just upliftment of humanity and each other. You think about it, how many times have we maybe even stepped on plants
or mowed
other
over
things like that,
something like
without even saying anything. or noticing or being grateful. That's why when yogis say things like, notice when the rocks are turned and they weren't the night before, what's really happening. It's all something we can connect with and learn from.
It's a great, big, beautiful world out there. Let's
It is.
learn
It's
from
alive. Way better than
That's
Disneyland.
right. Much better than a lot less stressful than Disneyland.
Yes. And now it's metaphysical tool time. Today's tools consist of a stone, animal, and a flower. As always, the information included is for educational and entertainment purposes only and are not a substitute for medical advice. Legal disclaimer there. As always, you are fully responsible for your choices. We do not encourage the worship of any healing tool mentioned in this or any video, and we encourage everyone to appreciate the divinity within everything. Let's begin with today's stone. Ben, can you share with us about amethyst cacoxenite?
The following information is from healingcrystalsforyou.com. This stone is meant to aid ascension, healing, and spiritual growth. It comes from the Espírito Santo region in Brazil, which translates to mean Holy Spirit in English. It is said that these crystals are made up of the energy from 7 minerals: amethyst, clear quartz, rutile, goethite, cacoxenite, lepidocrosite, and smoky quartz crystal. Amethyst cacoxenite are potent stones for earth healing and spiritual growth. They resonate strongly within the third eye, crown chakra, and soul star chakras. Their energy works to energize all of the chakras in the body and the etheric body. They epitomize the vibration of kinship of people. These lavender purple quartz crystals have various inclusions that make them powerful stones for spiritual awakening, raising our vibration, and healing.
Thank you, Ben. And our healing animal is the swan. Neil, would you share with us about the swan and its pertinence to today's topic?
The following information is from spiritanimaltotems.com. Swan symbolism heralds the development of our intuitive abilities and altered states of awareness. In other words, the swan insists that we learn new ways of thinking, breathing, and going with the flow of life. This symbolism means new spiritual growth is on our horizon. Like the giraffe, the swan meaning also asks us to accept our ability to know what lies ahead. Therefore, we should follow hunches and pay attention to intuitive guidance. The power of the swan can help us intuitively see into the future. Like the snake and the angelfish, swans are good at accepting the healing and transformation.
Thank you, Neil. And today's flower is the aster. It is also called heart-leaved aster because the leaves are shaped like hearts. It's also called blue wood aster, aster cordifolius, and a Michaelmas daisy. The name comes from the Greek word astar.
Ooh.
You like that? Astar.
Astar.
I didn't even know they had trills in their language until I looked that up. Isn't that cool? Which translates to aster in English. Aster means star-like and is fitting since the multicolored aster flowers resemble stars, which is what you become when you can connect with intuition. You know all of what's happening all out there and within here. It's a very common autumn wildflower that may be spotted beside roads. There are at least 180 known species of aster. This one has many small flowers with the center disc turning a dark reddish purple with age and leaves that are shaped like a heart. These beauties grow approximately 3 to 4 feet high in partial shade and bloom with the lavender flowers every fall in the eastern United States. They spread rapidly and are self-seeding. Flower heads are approximately 1 to 2 inches across, and flowers are an exceptional nectar source for both butterflies and bees. The root of this specific type of aster, Aster cordifolius, is also cited on the Natural Roots Institute National University of Natural Medicine website as a relaxant and an aromatic stimulant, acting slowly and rather permanently. Its principal power is expended upon the nervous system, and it is used to calm hysteria, nervous irritability, painful menstruation, and rheumatism, and has been compared to valerian. With it being such a common plant, and you'll see it all over in the fields and countrysides. This could come in very handy if there was ever a need when people were in chaos. So you can keep that in mind. Let's hope we don't go there. The website petalrepublic.com lists the dietary benefits of aster's leaves and flowers also as edible and can be used as in salads, as greens, or as garnish. The root, leaves, and flowers are also listed as being made into teas and tinctures. So to sum things up, we can allow ourselves to experience intuition consciously. We may do so by relaxing, being open, and inviting information into our awareness. We might also wear an amethyst cacoxenite, watch a movie about swans, and take a drive to admire the wild aster flowers as they grow and sway alongside a winding road. And we can say an affirmation to remind us that we are worthy, willing, and able to know the truth. So what say ye? Will you allow yourself to connect via intuition more often? Share your thoughts and feelings in the comments section so we may learn to get to connect together more. As always, we thank you for watching and sharing time with us. If you liked today's show, we'd be honored if you'd hit the like button and let us know you like what we're doing. Hit the subscribe button and the bell to receive all new videos, and hit the share button to share this message with people you care about. We ask for these things because each time you like, subscribe, or share our videos, they become more visible via YouTube, which allows more new people to find and watch the video and receive inspiration and tools for their healing and connection to intuition. Your likes and shares support healing and connection. That's what we're all about. And to receive free goodies from us and see our other YouTube channels, check out our description box. If you'd like some personal support to put down your burden of worrying and start using intuition, schedule complimentary conversation with me by clicking the link in the description box or go to willyougrow.com to learn more. And I'll look forward to speaking with you soon. And keep your eyes peeled and your hearts open for the times that we're going to be having our classes in the near future about connecting to intuition, nature, and all the ways that we can receive truth and information. And for now, we bid you adieu. Take excellent care of your very fine self, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Always with love, I send to you, from Angelique.
If you'd like to buy the book Angelique described in today's show, it's available to purchase by following the link in the description box. By purchasing through that link, you will be supporting your own learning, the publisher, and will you. Just click the link in the description box to buy your book about practical intuition. For more information about programs offered by Will You, mentoring with Angelique, and to watch video success stories from clients, explore willyougrow.com. If you or your company are interested in inspiring our mutual audience by sponsoring this or another of our programs, let's talk about it. Boost viewer confidence and trust in your company. Call 1-833-WILL-YOU, then press extension number 6. Make sure to click the subscribe button to get reminders before upcoming shows.